Hi, my name is Jasmine Vaya, and today I will be discussing why the police should be defunded in my persuasive speech. So let's get into it. Police brutality cases are at an all-time high, and there is a constant stream of wrongful deaths and beatings conducted by police officers in the news, and with the recent rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, there has been a call to defund the police. Defunding the police, meaning to cut police budgets and put the money towards more essential services like healthcare and education. And the police should be defunded because other services need funding, police violence, and because of the racism rooted in policing. The very definition of defunding the police allocates for redistributing police budgets to underfunded essential services. Healthcare, employment, education, and housing are all severely underfunded, whereas police budgets increase every year. According to Grant, the pandemic only helps make the case that money spent on police work that does not help keep the city safe is far better spent on protecting New Yorkers by improving healthcare and housing. The COVID-19 pandemic clearly illustrates how dire healthcare funding is. The heroes of the pandemic are wearing trash bags and swim goggles as personal protective equipment, while police officers received brand new riot gear and increased wages while keeping the peace at protests. A quick Google search shows that $11,000 was spent per NYPD officer riot gear. The millions spent on this gear could have allowed for millions of people to live when healthcare workers were forced to decide who got a ventilator to breathe and who did not. This past year has shown the reasons why police officers are wildly unliked by the general public. The horrific murder of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, where a police officer kneeled on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds until he died, disrupted the world. Protests and riots ensued, demanding for the police officers involved to be charged and a change to the police system. Police were sent out to these protests to keep the peace and prevent violence, but it only resulted in more police violence. Protesters were tear gassed and shot at with rubber bullets. Oakes writes, expecting a cop to be held at the same level of accountability as your average everyday citizen should not be too much to ask for. Police are held to a higher regard than the average citizen. An average citizen would not be able to justify murder by claiming that they were reaching for a weapon or what looked like a weapon. Police violence has risen to an extreme in the past few years, and with all the wrongful murders and beatings by those in badges, budgets should not be increased, they should be decreased. Racism is deeply rooted in American history. The country was built by slaves and taken from the natives. The Constitution was written by white male slave owners. It is not in favor of minority groups and only allows for a white America to flourish. Rice states that beyond justice for Floyd, Systematic change is necessary to make our institutions more just. Changes have to happen to the Constitution and the education of the people. On average, Black people are 5 times more likely to be arrested than white people. And there are over 200 Black people who have been killed by police due to police brutality in the past few years. That's only counting the murders that were caught on camera and publicized. And the history behind the police system itself is blatantly racist. The police system was created to stop runaway slaves and control immigration. It seems to have not changed from that. And the statistics of police racism should not be rewarded with higher budgets and new uniforms. To conclude, the police should be defunded. The healthcare system is desperately in need of the funding that the police system gathers. The rampant police violence against people of color should not be rewarded. The underlying racism of the police system and the police officers themselves is not going to be fixed with money. The money that is thrown at the police system is not going to bring back the thousands of people who have died in the hands of those with badges. There is also a rampant fear of the police among people of color. They wonder if they will die when they get pulled over and if they will become another statistic and name in the news. The police should be defunded because there are more essential services in need of funding, police brutality, and the racism of the police system itself. And that's all.